Dan Illman, Mike Beer, closing out a great day of racing at Kentucky Downs. Big purses, graded stakes races. Race 12 is the Franklin-Simpson. These are top 3-year-old turf sprinters going 6.5 furlongs. $600,000 is the purse. Let's take a peek at this field. And you've got probably the best 3-year-old turf sprinter in the country in here. The number 6, Big Invasion, who really the big question for him in this race is how is he going to handle the Kentucky Downs turf course? Because everything else they've thrown at him, he's knocked out of the park.
Yeah, he just keeps going from strength to strength, this horse. He's looked really good winning his last couple of races in particular. They went 7 furlongs with him, 3 starts back. He had no trouble with that, even with a really fast pace in front of him. I don't know. He's just a really hard horse to knock, but you're right. I guess now he has to prove that he can handle this quirky turf course.
12 horses entered in the body of the race, 4 also eligibles, 13 through 16. We'll throw up the Timeform US pace projector. We're expecting there to be some hitting in the early going. The number 12 one-timer does have good speed. Not sure he's an absolute need the lead type. However, Run Curtis Run is going to be forwardly placed, and I think Asymmetric's going to be ridden more so the way he was 2 starts back than last time.
It'll be interesting to see what they do with Asymmetric. 2 starts back, he was just a runoff going 7. That didn't work out. They tried to take him back last time. I guess that didn't work out either. He'll be somewhere in the middle, I feel like. I don't think they're going to send him here, but I doubt it'll be too far away. I don't know. I felt like one-timer, we'll see. They didn't use his speed 2 starts back the last time it was on turf, but he's a pretty fast horse. I think they're going to go with that horse from the outside.
The number 1, Call Me Midnight, seems versatile from a running style standpoint. He made his turf debut at huge odds last time out at Ellis Park, and he ran okay. He swung to the outside in the stretch. He finished 5th. My feeling is he has to do slightly better, but I do think he has a little bit of upside.
I agree. We'll see. I feel like they're just going to let him sit here again and make one run. He was in behind horses for a little bit there in that Ellis Park race last time, but he got clear with time, I thought. It just didn't really find a super strong finish. And of course, All in Sync was also back in this race and was beating them in their last 2 meetings. That horse was just out in the clear with a clean run.
Going to get a big price on a Todd Pletcher train runner. That's the number 2, Chanceux. Tyler Gaffalione takes them out. And I like what Todd's doing with this horse and that he's shortening him up in distance. They've tried him around 2 turns. He's run okay in some of those races. I just have a feeling he's going to be better suited cutting back to 6. And he's a horse that can be on the lead if they want to ride him that way.
I agree with you. I like the shorter distance with this horse. I can't say I'm this horse's biggest fan, Dan. I don't love all of his races, but I like him going shorter. And when they did cut him back 3 back in that Paradise Creek, I mean, that pace was just too fast for him with Asymmetric just sort of rolling out of the gate and opening a huge lead. I don't think that's the trip that Chanceux wanted that day. I think he can get a better trip in this race, and shorter's better.
The 3, Tejano Twist, was claimed 3 starts back for $80,000. And last time out, they ran him a mile at Ellis Park. And I think a mile's a little bit far for this horse. He was stakes place sprinting in his only other start on turf in 2021. I think the turning back helps him. He doesn't have a lot of speed, though.
He's got a lot to prove against a field like this one. He is going to be a fairly big price, for a horse who's only run twice on turf, and they're both okay performances. They're not great, but they're okay, and he is cutting back to a better distance here. So, I think you could sort of try to get him in there at some kind of huge price, but he's going to probably need to run the best race he's ever run.
One of the horses that finished ahead of him last time out returned to pull off a big upset earlier this meet in the Grade 3 Dueling Grounds Derby with a 95 buyer. Heaven Street is up next, the number 4 for trainer Brendan Walsh. Blinkers on. He's 30-1 on the morning line. He just got hung outside last time out in the Oceanside at Del Mar. I wish I liked some of his other races a little bit better, but I think with the blinkers on, he could be closer to the pace.
Yeah, I wonder. That's actually a good point. He was a little bit wide last time, and so maybe that's enough of an excuse. I didn't like his race 2 back, though, when Stitch beat him. Can't say that I really care for any of his other races either. To me, he's just going to have to be way better sprinting than he is routing.
He got 22-1 if you just play Steve Asmussen in stakes races. That was All in Sync last time out in his turf debut at Ellis Park. Let's watch All in Sync. There was a fair pace on in this race, and we're going to see All in Sync come with a good kick to win. The 6th place finisher would come back to win a stakes race at Colonial with a 100 buyer speed figure. He beat a couple older horses in this race.
Yeah, he did. He did get the right trip, though. That's down towards the inside. The four, though, that's Call Me Midnight, is also back in here. He got clear and just didn't kick hard. I don't know. I thought this horse ran fine. I thought he beat a decent field. We'll see what kind of price he is this time, Dan. He was such a big price last time that I don't think you want, take him back in here if he starts taking money.
The 6 is Big Invasion. He's won his last 6 races, including this effort, the Mahoney at Saratoga. Joel Rosario showed a lot of confidence in this horse, and why not? He's done nothing wrong in his career. He actually broke very well in this race. Rosario took him back. He saved ground. He swung to the outside, and this is a very impressive stretch kick.
Yeah, very strong finisher. He's shown this in basically all of his races right from the start, and he really finishes his races off. He's in hand here at the wires. He's getting away. Again, 3 starts back, they went, for really the only time in his career, they went 7 with them. He had no problem with the added distance that day, won easily again. Hard to knock this horse right now.
Run Curtis Run does have tactical speed. He is a very consistent horse that more often than not comes through with a good performance. He just ran second in the quick call behind Big Invasion earlier in the Saratoga meet, and that's kind of been the story. Big Invasion's had his number thus far.
Yeah, he's not as good as Big Invasion. So if he's going to beat that horse, he's going to need to get the right trip in this race. And it feels like, just based on his running style, the right trip for him is going to be getting up towards the front in a race where they just do not go fast. And maybe he can sort of take advantage of that kind of a situation.
In from the West Coast for Mr. Mandela is the number 8 Sumter, who had a 3-race win streak snapped, won a good third in this race. The grade 3 La Jolla last time out, going 1 mile and a 16th. Maybe the 4-month layoff had a little bit to do with Sumter's defeat. He ran okay, second off the layoff, and turning back in distance, I think works very well for him.
Yeah, I don't mind him turning back either. He did start out his career as a sprinter, and I guess he ran okay in some of those races. To be honest, Dan, since the 3 stakes races going longer, I know he won 2 of them. I wasn't, particularly taken with any of those performances. So, to me, he's just going to have to be a horse who you think is way better sprinting, and I suppose that's possible.
I don't want to sleep on the number 9 Stitch, the horse that's won 4 of his last 5 starts, including his last 3 races. He does seem to have some tactical speed. I do wonder if this distance is a bit short for him, although you could make the argument that the turf course at Kentucky Downs plays a little longer than 6.5.
It probably does. I'm a little concerned about him sprinting anyway, but listen, I have no knocks on his turf form overall. I mean, he's just shown up and run well. And every one of those races, and even that race last time at Canterbury, Dan, he didn't make the lead. It was no problem. He was comfortable tracking. He won very easily. If he can handle this cutback, I think he's a viable horse to use somewhere at a fair price.
Irish bred Asymmetric began his career overseas, was a Group 2 winner in England, should handle this course just fine. In the Paradise Creek 2 starts back, his North American debut, Mike mentioned that he was just a runaway speed, and he ran quite well to be second to Big Invasion. Last time out, as Mike mentioned, the quick call, they took him back, and I'm just not sure that's what he wants. I think you kind of just take him out of the race when you grab him.
Yeah, and they did that from the start, right from the gate the last time. It was like they wanted to give him a totally different trip than he got in the Paradise Creek. They grabbed him. They rated him back to last. After that, his trip wasn't a bad one, Dan. He followed Big Invasion to the stretch, and then he just got out-kicked by that horse. They've run him against Big Invasion twice. He's been no match twice. He's got plenty to find on that horse.
The beautifully bred New York bred, the number 11 Coinage, has done some nice things in his career for trainer Mark Cassey. He was just third in this race for New York breds, the Rick Violet last time out at Saratoga. And I don't mind what Luis Saez did at all. There wasn't a lot of speed in this race. He got up right up close to the pace, and Coinage gets a little bit drifty here in mid-stretch. He's going to tire and run third. I don't mind them cutting this horse back, Mike. Obviously, his damn bar of gold could do anything: sprint, route, turf, dirt. I'm just not sure how much improvement Coinage has left after 12 lifetime starts, and he might need to take a step forward.
That's my problem with him. I just don't know that he's going to, find a way to improve enough to beat this field. And I think he does have to improve. Listen, I just don't really like this horse that much. The 2 times that he was able to win on turf so far, and they're both stakes races, but I just thought he got perfect trips in both of them. And I wasn't, particularly impressed either time. Maybe he'll just be way better sprinting. I don't know.
One timer is the 12, and they took a shot last time out for a big purse going 2 turns on the dirt, and he showed speed and tire. That's not the kind of horse one timer is. He is a turf sprinter, however. This is his race 2 starts back. The My Frenchman going 5.5 at Monmouth, and the winner of this race, That's Right, would come back, and he got steamrolled by Big Invasion. One timer ran okay to be second. This is a stronger group, though, than the race we're showing right now.
It is. I just feel like, to me, that it's got to come out of there running, I think, and try to make the lead here, Dan, and see what he can do with that kind of a trip, because that was certainly his running style as a 2-year-old. They only ran him on turf twice, but they used his speed in those races, and I thought he ran really well in the Speakeasy and at the Breeders' Cup. I think they were both viable performances. This horse is all right. I want them to put him on the lead.
All 4 horses on the also eligible list have some sort of credentials. I think the 13 Evan Singh is interesting off a win for Al Stong last time out at Saratoga. Catamosto needs a couple of scratches to get in. He was no match for Big Invasion last time out, but he ran well in the Mahoney.
Yeah, he did. We'll see if any of these horses get in. Certainly, if the 13 Evan Singh gets in, I'll be using that horse. I like that he sort of has that adaptable running style, and I really liked his win off the layout.
Top pick time for the Grade 2 $600,000 Franklin-Simpson Stakes. Maybe the course beats Big Invasion. I think that's the only worry, because this horse has done everything they've asked him. And any sort of sprint distance, 5 to 7, adaptable from a pace standpoint as well. He's the horse to beat.
Yeah, he's way the horse to be in here. I'm finally on board, Dan. I spent a lot of time, losing money betting against Big Invasion. I'm done with that. I'm just going to stick with him in here. I think he's way the horse to beat. I will try to bring back that Paradise Creek Exacta, though, Dan, with asymmetric underneath.
If he relaxes a little bit, he can come into the number at a price, the 10 asymmetric. Big Invasion for me. Curious to see if this Asmussen horse is the real deal on the turf. Can't bet him at a depressed price, but maybe he'll sort of slip through the cracks. 6-10-2-9 for Mike, 6-5-12-7 for me. It's the Franklin-Simpson on a big afternoon of racing at Kentucky Downs. Best of luck.